As we celebrate our first graduates, it seems fitting that we hear from an individual whose achievements and contributions are illustrative of the many choices and opportunities the 55 of you will face in the coming years. Ponder this, if you will. Might you shine in over 100 films? Might you collect Oscars and accolades for some of the most defining on-screen performances of our time? Serve as president of the jury of the Cannes Film Festival, co-found the Tribeca Film Center, spearhead the post-9/11 economic revitalization of downtown New York City, and along the way, for added fun, open great hotels and dozens of great restaurants around the world. Graduates, will you do such things? That, of course, is a question to be answered well into the future. But what's inspiring, I think, what our speaker portrays is that there is a limitless ceiling on the variety and distinction of what one individual can do, no matter where your interests or talents or passions may lie. It's in this light that gives me great pleasure, really an honor, to introduce Bob De Niro. Bob, we know you've received many honors, even from prestigious universities like NYU, Bates College, etc. But we think we're breaking new ground here at Avenues by conferring upon you your first honorary high school diploma. This certifies Robert Anthony De Niro has satisfactorily completed and prescribed course of study and is therefore awarded this diploma. This goes with all the rights and privileges you would expect from an institution of our caliber, including this limited edition. You can't get these on Amazon, folks. Jacket. You can just imagine the product placement possibilities in your next film. Okay. It's a pleasure. The microphone's yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, they say there are no shortcuts in life. They're wrong. I'm proof. I skipped graduating high school. A mere 55 years later, I'm a high school graduate. And I didn't even have to make it through Tiffany Trotter's humanities class. Head of school, Mattoon, Dean Dunnan, teachers, staff, parents, grandparents, distinguished guests, friends. Did I miss anyone? And fellow graduates of Avenues class of 2016, good morning. Because this is Avenues, I was going to give my address half in Spanish and half in Mandarin. But out of consideration for the parents and friends in the audience who haven't had the benefit of an Avenues education, today I'll speak in English. It gives the proceedings sort of an old school flavor, don't you think? Congratulations to us, the first graduates of Avenues. Now what? There are 56 of us. 55 will be going to college, and one of us, which is about 2% of the graduating class, will return to the working world where he or she will freelance as an actor and entrepreneur. 55 of us will spend the next 4 or more years being challenged by the demands of higher education, becoming more independent along the way, and mastering beer pong. One of us will be going out to auditions, sucking up to directors, and working in restaurants between acting jobs. Thanks to your amazing Avenues education and the support from your families and teachers, you 55 are set. I have nothing to say to you except good luck. You've already made your decisions. Maybe your college will have an interesting commencement speaker who will give you valuable advice as you embark on the next stage of life. I agree with everything they will say and urge you to pay close attention, no matter how hot and uncomfortable you'll be in those robes. When you look back on your high school graduation, you won't recall more than that some old guy spoke. I don't know what he said, but at least it was short. I don't mind being remembered that way. So forget about you. I'm going to direct my comments to our one graduate who isn't going to college. The rest of you can pass the time playing Angry Birds on your phones. Those green pigs aren't going to destroy themselves. Hello, Avenues graduate. Today, you're a first among first. You're in the First Avenues graduating class. You're the first honorary graduate, the first graduate not to go right off to college. And I'm pretty sure you're the First Avenues graduate to have grandchildren still attending Avenues. Here's my advice to you. Continue to have adventures. You don't need to go overboard. Maybe you could have taken a gap year instead of all those gap decades. But the important thing is to do it. Don't be afraid of being afraid. A little fear can give you an edge. You don't need to overcome your fear. Just don't let it overcome you. My son, Raphael, is here. He'll remember me telling him and his siblings, if you don't go, you'll never know. And I remember them respectfully rolling their eyes and saying, sure, Dad. My second piece of advice to one non-matriculating graduate is to fail. Not just don't be afraid to fail, though that too. I mean, actually fail. It's going to happen anyway. Embrace it. You may spectacularly fail yourself, or fail as part of an enterprise. Resist being discouraged by it, and also resist the common advice to rise from the failure. Brush yourself off and go on. I suggest you take advantage of your failures. Think about them. Try to understand what went wrong. Just getting up and bravely going ahead may be inspiring, but then sooner or later, you're going to end up on your ass again. Fail, own it, figure it out, then go on, get stronger, and get smarter. The greatest, Muhammad Ali, passed away a few days ago. It was my privilege to know him and with the rest of the world to admire him. The champ didn't win every fight. What was most impressive to me was what he did following his losses. After Joe Frazier beat him, Ali won his next 10 fights. When Ken Norton beat him, he won his next 14 fights, including beating Frazier and Norton twice each. When Leon Spinks beat him, he came right back and defeated Spinks. Those victories were the result of emerging from his failures stronger and smarter. Thinking of Muhammad Ali brings me to another piece of advice for our honorary graduate. Keep fighting, but before throwing the first punch, think about whether the fight is worth it. Beating the crap out of someone in a bar is rarely worth it, though it can be satisfying. Winning a Twitter war is never worth it, though I've heard that it can be satisfying too. I wouldn't know. Ali's biggest fights were outside the ring. They didn't involve punching others. They were fights where he stood up and took punches himself, standing up against a war, standing up for civil rights. These are battles worth fighting. Choose yours carefully. I'm almost out of advice. There's only so much I can take. Two more. First, know what's going on in the world. You may not want to change the world, but you can't make that decision if you're not an informed observer. Right now, for example, there's an election going on. Read about it, follow it, immerse yourself in it. It's more than a trending topic. It's your life. I don't think there's been a more important election in my lifetime. You other graduates can't vote yet, but you can make a difference. Work for a candidate, help inform others, influence your parents who may have it all wrong. Find a way to get involved. Arm yourself with information, then act on it. It doesn't matter which candidate you support. Well, no, it doesn't matter. Please, don't. Not that maniac with the little fingers. This last bit of advice is actually for you, the graduates. You graduates going on to college. It's simple. Don't let college ruin you. Here at Avenues, you've embraced a worldview and a collaborative approach to learning and engaging. My experience has shown me that there's nothing more important than collaboration in life and in work. It will take some effort to maintain that in college because even the most enlightened universities often encourage individual achievement at the sacrifice of working together. Don't let that happen to you. That's a fight worth fighting. Avenues, thank you for the honor of graduating with this impressive class. Thank you for the diploma. I was thinking of going for my GED next year, so this saves me the trouble. And graduating class of 2016, we have our whole lives in front of us. Well, I may not make the 50th reunion, but from what I see today, I'm optimistic and confident in my classmates carrying on. We did it. It's a good day to be an aviator. Thank you.